So in this verse, the description about the fight between the Lord and demon Hiranyaksha is being explained. Now one may wonder, the fight is happening between the Lord and the demon, and how can the inhabitants all over the universe get a feeling as if there is pralaya happening? Dissolution of the universe. Many times when we read certain pastimes in Bhagavatam, in our scriptures, some things we'll be able to easily understand, something we'll be able to understand by scratching our head with great difficulty, and some things will not be able to understand. For example, the ocean made of curds, ocean made of honey, and that's why people who don't have faith, they say it's all fictitious, all mythological stories. But devotees, when we read, we actually believe. The other day we were hearing class from Swekta Prabhu, where he was saying that it is not blind faith. Just like when you book a ticket, you go to Make My Trip or any authorized travel websites, you just get one email, but your account is debited. And your flight is, let's say, travel date is 1 week, 10 days later. Your amount is debited. But what you have is just one notification, one email. But because you have booked the ticket in a very authorized website, you have got the mail from Make My Trip or some website, you have faith. The whole world is working like that. So likewise, because it's mentioned in the Bhagavatam, which is revered as Amala Purana, where great acharyas have commented, have glorified Srimad Bhagavatam, written commentaries, preached the message of Bhagavatam. Srila Prabhupada is mentioning that it is Vedavyas, Shukadev Goswami, explaining so many lectures day after day, Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya. So it's not fictitious. We should have faith. To illustrate that, we all know that there is a famous, many times devotees get into this kind of a discussion. On one side we say that when we go to spiritual world, we will not fall down. Yad gatva na nivartante tad dhamam paramam mama. Krishna also says that. But then the question comes, why we came to this material world once we were in the spiritual world? Okay, somebody may say Nitya Baddha, but somebody may be from the spiritual world and fell down in the material world. And we also know the living entity always have free will, and there is a possibility of misuse of free will. So again, a person can fall down. So there's a book written called Not a Leaf Also Falls from the Spiritual World. Just to say that we didn't fall from the spiritual world. Therefore, when we go, we'll not fall down. So Srila Prabhupada explains the futility of such discussions. Now, not that we cannot discuss, not that we cannot ask this question, But each and everything I should get fully crystal clear understanding may not happen. Some things can remain, we have to tolerate that some things, some understanding can remain unresolved. Why? Because in one sense it is arrogance that everything I should be able to understand. We are hearing in Bhagavatam that Krishna's glories, Brahma is saying, I am not able to understand. We are talking about that subject matter. We are talking about that Supreme Lord. Anantadev, with thousands of hoods, is glorifying, and still he has not come to conclusion or the ending of Krishna's glories. So not everything we'll be able to understand, and it is okay. It's arrogance that because we are limited, we are small amsha. Humility means what? I am tucham, I am small, I am anu. I don't even understand what's happening in my body. Diabetes is, very common. India is said to be diabetic capital of India. In spite of so much knowledge, people are still scratching brain. Why type 2 diabetes? Why type 1 diabetes? Is it because of genetic? Some people get it, or is it because of this thing? There's a whole lot of how the pancreas are working, how the insulin is produced. So much, even among doctors, there are at times discussions happening. We don't understand fully. So, Prabhupada gave a nice example. This is called the crow and the tal fruit logic. Some of you would have heard about. Once there was a tree laden with fruits, and a crow came flying on the tree, and suddenly the tal fruit fell, and the crow flew away. So there were scholars who were observing this. One of them said that because the crow came and sat on the limb of the tree, it shook the limb, and therefore the tal fruit fell. The other scholar said, no. According to me, the fruit was ripe. It was about to fall, just the crow sat and it fell. It was not because of crow. Fruit was ripe, it was about to fall. Had the crow not said, it would have anyway fallen. The third scholar said, actually, the fruit was already falling. It is not because of crow. The crow came, saw the fruit falling, got frightened, and he flew away. And then Prabhupada explains, what is the use of this kind of discussion? Ripened fruit has fallen. Eat it and enjoy. So Srila Prabhupada explains that this discussion, were we in the spiritual world, why did we fall down? If we go back, will we fall down again? And tarka, lot of discussion happening back and forth. We have limited time, we have limited energy. So there's a saying, we should know which battles to fight. Not every battle you see, jump in. There are a lot of battles happening. You have to choose which battles to fight, which discussions to get into, which discussions is worth spending your time. Some devotees are discussing, some discussion is going on. We have to decide what to get into. Once we get into, then we get lost. Even understanding. What understanding? I should really scratch my head and... Like, for example, the scholars can go on. So Prabhupada said that now we know that we are in this material world, we are suffering. We are in Maya. We don't need any proof. Senses are uncontrolled, mind is controlled, we are bewildered. Krishna is saying that, come back to me, surrender to me. Krishna is offering, acharyas are offering. We follow what they are saying. Madhu Prabhu in one lecture explains, japa is very, very simple. If we follow and be simple like a child. Actually, if you analyze, it's a very simple chant and hear. We complicate because our mind is complicated. We complicate because the simple instruction we don't follow or not able to follow. So, it is okay, some of the things we are not able to understand. We can try, and it's also a fact that something which you are not able to understand today, you will be able to understand clearly after 3 months, after 6 months, after 1 year. Pratyaksha avagamam susukam kartum. It will become pratyaksha. You try to explain to an intellectual who is not Krishna conscious that soul is there and there is life after that, he will not be able to understand. Because he has not grown in his spiritual understanding. He will not be able to understand. So likewise, we are also spiritually growing. At our level of understanding, we can understand our level of spiritual growth, we can only understand few things. That is humility. Then when we grow further, we'll understand some more dots will get connected. And then we further advance, we'll understand more. And it's a fact that we cannot understand without the mercy of Srila Prabhupada, without the mercy of Krishna. And humility means, who am I to deserve the mercy? I am so fallen. I am able to understand these things, Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, a big thing. Today I have some understanding of soul. It's mercy of Prabhupada and Krishna. I may not have complete understanding. How do I say that I should have complete understanding? I can try. It's a matter of duty. So this should be the mood when we read scripture. Have full faith. Something we'll be able to understand, something we'll not be able to understand, but still we have faith that what Bhagavatam is saying is the truth. Srila Prabhupada, just like here, last chapter we're discussing about fight between the Lord and the demon like this, he did the tricks, and all the demigods are afraid, they're anxious, they're waiting when the Lord will this thing, that they are telling the Lord, don't delay, they are afraid. Why we have to read all this? We can read about Krishna Leela, where Krishna's instructions to Arjuna, sublime instruction, how to control mind, how to control the senses, because that's what I am troubled with. Why read about fight between a demon and the Lord? So one very important thing we have to understand is Lord, out of His causeless mercy, has manifested in many divine transcendental forms for us to contact Him in those forms and get purified and get liberated. If the Lord does not manifest mercifully out of His causeless mercy in His merciful incarnations or forms, we have no hope to come out of this material existence. What are His merciful manifestations? Deity is a merciful manifestation. His holy name is a merciful manifestation. Krishna katha is a merciful manifestation. Krishnaprasadam is merciful manifestation. Krishna's name, Krishna's form, Krishna's pastime, Krishna's leelas, they are non-different. Krishna is absolute. So when we touch Krishna, now all of us want to hear something. That's why you see so many movies are getting made, so many people want to hear stories. So even the stories where there is a fight going on between this thing, when we hear, because they are non-different from Krishna, when we hear Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya, we should have faith. We should not have faith, this is important section, this is unimportant section. It is part of Bhagavatam, it's Krishna Katha. When we hear, we are getting, it's manifest. That's why Prabhupada used to say, this Bhagavatam is the literary incarnation of the Lord. There are also quotes that anybody house the Bhagavatam is that it's like DT in the book form. So morning program, when we are touching Lord, we are having darshan of the deities, touching Lord, seeing the form. Then we are chanting the names, we are contacting incarnation in another form. Then we are hearing Bhagavatam, we are contacting sparsha of the Lord in another form. Then we'll have prasadam, sparsha of the Lord in another form. Then Krishna Seva, it's sparsha of the Lord in another form. So all of us are fortunate because throughout the day, by Prabhupada's mercy, we have an opportunity to touch the Lord in His various merciful forms throughout the day, 24/7. So we should know that these are all various forms, Bhagavatam, and I am hearing, why I am hearing. Sometimes mind can say, no, take rest. What is the thing? Anyway, this part I know. Anyway, this next 3-4 verses only fight is happening. So when we touch the Lord in different forms, chanting, have darshan, hear Bhagavatam, take prasadam, we become Krishna conscious. Srila Prabhupada was once asked, what pleases you the most? Daily we sing, Yasya Prasadat Bhagavad Prasado. If spiritual master is pleased, the Lord is pleased. So, very direct question, what pleases you the most? What can be the answer? Book distribution. Anybody else? So there are many instructions. Sometimes we pick up one particular this thing and says that is this thing. There are many instructions which says, if you want to please me, then distribute my books. Right? But if you read all the instructions, and Prabhupada in this particular conversation replies, I'll be very pleased if you become Krishna conscious. Even book distribution is for our Krishna consciousness and to spread Krishna consciousness. That's why Prabhupada, International Society for Krishna Consciousness. Krishna consciousness is primary. So he says that if you become Krishna conscious, it will please me a lot. And the next thing he says that if you can distribute Krishna consciousness to others. That's why we have different services, building the temples, we have prasadam distribution, we have distribution of, and that's why you see there are many quotes. Sometimes people get confused. On one side, Prabhupada is saying distributing books will please me a lot. Somebody says if you distribute prasadam, it will please me a lot. Somebody is saying if you build a temple, it will please me a lot. Somebody says if you do service, pure devotion, sir, it will please me a lot. Because all these are connected to Krishna and will purify us, make us Krishna conscious and help us spread Krishna consciousness. Janma sartaka kari karopakar. Sometimes this doubt can come in our mind. We are not preaching. We are building a temple. We are very project oriented. Our whole prana energy is going in building temple, collecting money for temple, constructing the temple. And no doubt, what is very obvious, what is in front of eyes, preaching means when you talk somebody about Krishna, ask him to chant Hare Krishna mantra or tell him about Krishna. That is preaching. Srila Prabhupada gave us a little broader understanding. That's why also there are many quotes. Again, quotes, there are many principles and the application of a principle. Why build a temple? And why build such a big temple? A lot of prana will go in building this temple, and then a lot of prana will go in managing this temple, in running this temple. If goal is to be Krishna conscious and preach Krishna consciousness, why build temples? This doubt can come. Now, jivas are in this material world entangled, bound, steeped in ignorance. Krishna is very merciful. He has come in his merciful incarnations. A grand big temple gives a grand opportunity for millions of jivas to come and touch the Lord in his various forms. When this temple will get built, each and every tourist who comes to Jaipur will visit the temple. Irrespective of what religion he is of, irrespective of what country he comes from. You will have tourists from China, you will have tourists from Uzbekistan, you will have tourists from Kenya, you will have from Uganda. They will come and have darshan of the Lord. The Lord who has incarnated in the form, merciful incarnation in the form of deity. Otherwise, where is the opportunity for them to have darshan? How many are coming now from Uganda? Nobody is coming. How many foreigners, how many tourists are coming? So the opportunity of the Lord who has descended in a deity form merciful, that opportunity is not there for them. So temple, grand temple, predominantly enables us to bring millions of people in touch with the merciful incarnations of the Lord, deities. They'll come and have darshan of the Lord. In Bangalore, the Gita counter, 400 Bhagavad Gitas on an average on a weekend, Saturday gets sold, Sunday gets sold. 400 Gita. Many of us have tried book distribution, book marathon and other times. If 10, 15, 20 Gitas get sold, it's a big thing. So temple enables to distribute Divya Gyan, transcendental knowledge. That's a different thing. We have to, opportunity is there. We can make the best use of opportunity, or we may not make the best use. We may not efficiently use. So Divya Gyan, people will come, they will see some posters, they read something, they'll buy some book, they will go to the Gita counter, they will have an expo, they will see some shows. They will interact with the devotees. There will be many preaching halls, there will be many. So Divya Gyan. Second, people get access to the holy names. Again, take example of Bangalore. On a Sunday, 5,000, 6,000, 7,000 people pass through that Harinam Mantra, chanting 108 times the Hare Krishna. Anybody who is little sincere, anybody who is little bit looking for spirituality, he'll take up. Anybody who's in distress, 4 kinds of people. He has come with lot of distress, his mind is this thing, he has come to the temple, he is chanting 108 this thing. He may take it up. Again, there is no limit to how much we can make our preaching effective. If there is some devotee posted and says, no, daily, give a card and say minimum 608 times, chant daily. 6,000, 7,000 people with Prabhupada audio. And yesterday we were hearing Ajamila, one time he chanted Narayana. Vishnu Dutas came in this. $7,000 people, 8,000 people. How many people are now chanting? Then prasadam distribution. 15,000, 20,000, 25,000 people are coming to the temple. Everyone is getting prasad. So, what does a big temple do? What is preaching? Preaching is, sometimes people think preaching means telling about Krishna. That is knowledge. Knowledge is one part of preaching, one aspect of preaching. That's why many times people says, Gita kya padhaoge uska pet agar bhukha hai. If he has not eaten, how will he understand? It's a fact also. Somebody who is not eaten, that Maslow's laws of human need, doesn't have food, clothing, shelter. For him, that is a priority first. His anxiety is how to put food in the belly. So we have to also be practical. No matter how good we are in preaching to others, not everyone can take it, not everyone is ready for it. You catch 100 people and say, I want to talk about Krishna, 90 people will like to escape from you. If you are very expert, somehow you'll catch him. But next time they will curse you also. Jabarsi pagad liya. One time in Bangalore, 3 youngsters came. And I was very enthusiastic, very inspired. So I caught them and took them to my office and preached to them for half an hour and told them about Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, and they were receptive. I would not be saying that I was forcing beyond their listening. And then I made them chant 108 times. I gave them mala also, and 3 of them were there, and made them chant 108 times. And we all chanted together. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, together 108 times. And I was very happy, I have spent quality time with them, preaching to them. You won't believe, next day I got a nasty mail from them. Very dirty mail from them. One of them, he says, you should be sensitive to others, this thing. We had come to the temple with the intention that we'll have a good experience. How can you force us to chant? And body language didn't say that they are getting forced. How can you force us to chant? How can you make us chant 108 times and waste our time? So not everyone, let's be practical, not everyone is ready for Divya Gyan. How many this yoga for happiness, Gita for this thing, how many people come? How many registrations happen for yoga for happiness or for this? Out of registration, how many actually come? In a week, if 30, 40 registration, big thing. So that's why Acharyas have given those who are not ready for Divya Gyan, they can be given, what is that? Holy name. They are not interested in philosophy, they are not ready for it, but at least they can chant the name. If they are not ready even to chant the names, they can at least take Krishnaprasadam. And they all merciful manifestation of Krishna's mercy. And they are non-different. You see, now let's take practical example. How many people who come to the temple, they actually go back having Divya Gyan, even though we have to be humble that yes, we are not doing the best. We can do much more. But still, book counters are there. They will meet some devotees. How many people will actually buy the book? How many people will actually be curious to know, talk to the devotees, try to understand about this thing, what is life, what is... Very few. Relatively, a bigger number will get the holy name. Some people will come and join Kirtan. Some people will pass through the Harinam Mandap. So number of people who will go back touched by the holy name or having got the opportunity to touch the Lord in the form of holy name will be little bigger than people who got Divya Gyan. On a Sunday, 300, 500 people will pass through Harinam Mandap. They will hear, all will hear Kirtan. So they have touched the Lord in the form of Nama. And how many touched the Lord in the form of Prasadam? Everyone. So you have Divya Gyan, relatively smaller number, little bigger number, the holy name, little bigger number, the Prasadam. So this temple, these all are different things. How preaching means to distribute these ammunitions. These merciful forms of the Lord. Distribute Prasadam, distribute holy name, distribute Divya Gyan. Preaching is not just distributing Divya Gyan. What is preaching? Preaching means a soul which is at one level of ignorance or awakening, take it to the next level. What is education? A child which is in first class, take him to the second class is education. Education doesn't mean that only if he becomes a graduate. A child which is in 9th class to go to 10th class is education. A graduate becomes a postgraduate is also education. So likewise, somebody who is completely in ignorance, he comes and bows in front of the deity is preaching. Because that soul, one time he has chanted, Madhaprabhu says, why we should have that success after every beat, because it has gone and got credited into your eternal bank account. If one time we have chanted, why we should feel glad when we chant Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, Rishtam, that happiness, why it should happen? Because one mantra, if you have successfully and attentively chanted, it has got credited into an account which will never go away from your soul. Never. This body will go away, this wealth will go away, this reputation will go away, everything will go away. But that credit with the soul is permanent. So, all of us should get inspired when we are building a temple for the Lord. It is preaching. Preaching is not just selling a book. Preaching is how a soul can be taken to his next level. How one spiritual credit, even it could be Agnat Sukruti, if that is given to a soul, you have helped that soul. So, no doubt, this is no way to discount book distribution. Is not book distribution is important. It is preaching. It is a very potent form of preaching. And Prabhupada emphasized that. But this is no way to say that all other forms of this thing. Even Prabhupada, when many devotees got a little fanatical about book distribution, he said, just because I am emphasizing book distribution doesn't mean that other services are less important. So if we are a prana, Prabhupada, one more quote, it says, just how is construction not preaching? How is printing not preaching? How is management not preaching? Everything is connected to preaching, because even if we are managed, nothing, you're neither distributing prasadam, you're neither this thing, but you're enabling that machinery which will distribute all that. Indian railway system, Prabhupada gives an example. Not everyone is driving the rail train, only driver is driving and this thing, but the whole machinery is driven, the clerk, the peon, the security guard, whosoever it is. Everyone is driving the whole machinery of the Indian railways, which is serving millions of passengers every day. So a pujari, a cook, you're also preaching. Somebody who's sweeping the temple is also, you should connect with the Lord. How is this preaching? I am cleaning this temple. A clean temple will attract more people. More people, when they come to the temple, you should do this logical, quick calculation. And then we should have satisfaction. Somebody is cooking. I am cooking. This prasad will be offered to the Lord, will be distributed. Anybody who eats it, he'll have spiritual credit. Once Srila Prabhupada was told that, people are simply coming and eating here. They don't come for the class, they come for eating. So Prabhupada said, even if they are coming only for eating, it is good. At least they are taking Krishnaprasadam. And then he says that just like when you have some contaminated food, you get infection. He says when they take Krishnaprasadam, they'll get infected by Krishna. It's a fact that the food what we eat has a lot of effect on our consciousness. Recently I was traveling by flight. So just in front there was a seat. There were 2 children seated. 2.5 hour flight. I was going to Bangalore. So when we started, children were very sober, very quiet, boy and a girl, young, talking to each other. They were reading a book. 15 minutes after the flight took off, the girl told her father, and the father opened the luggage thing, and gave one packet. It was transparent see-through packet, polythene bag, and I could see full of chocolates, gems, 5-star, Coke. In normal parlance, hardcore junk food. Chocolates, eclairs, this thing. And then the father gave the whole packet. And then I was observing. So they took the Coke, and then they took that 5-star, and the boy is eating, the girl is eating. Next half an hour, 45 minutes, they were opening different wrappers, different sweets, different this thing and all that, and they were eating. So I was reading Gita, and in the Gita, that section where it talks about 3 modes of material nature. And food in 3 modes of material nature, Sattva Guna, Rajo Guna, Tamo Guna. Then I became a little curious. Now let me see what is going to happen to them. And believe me, in front of my eyes, I could see they getting cranky. They started different movements, not able to sit in properly. Chidchide, bolte na. And then quarrel between them. in front of me. I was observing, and sometimes Lord gives realization. I'm reading about Sattva-guna, Rajoguna, Tamoguna, Sattvic food, Rajasic food, Tamasic food, and right there across, I'm seeing that practically happening in front of my eyes. It's a fact. We are what we eat. So, Krishnaprasadam is mercy incarnation of the Lord in the form of food. That's why Prabhupada had so much annadan, so much food for life, so much prasadam distribution of holy name, distribution of this thing. Because it will touch the living entities in different form. The Lord has to be touched. They should be given opportunity to touch the Lord. So all of us should feel very inspired, feel very motivated. It is our good fortune that Krishna, Prabhupada has chosen us. To build a temple of the Lord is also not a small opportunity. For Lord, building a temple is not a big thing. Lord Sudama he desired and there was a palace. We, having got an opportunity to participate in this yajna, that struggle what we will do, the tension, that anxiety, Krishna anxiety, we talked about last, that anxiety what we will take, Mother one place says, you cannot, unless you sweat for Krishna, you will not get realizations. Intellectual understanding you will get. Which chapter, which verse number, what is that verse, that you can memorize. So when we take anxiety for Krishna, when we participate in Krishna's mission, it's a great opportunity for all of us. Janma sarthaka kari karupkar, to practice this knowledge and be instrument in hands of Prabhupada and Krishna to give this knowledge to others. What is pleasing to Prabhupada? To be Krishna conscious and distribute Krishna consciousness. Prabhupada has given us a morning program. If we do it nicely, Prabhupada is pleased because we are trying to be Krishna conscious. We participate in various services. We are pleasing Prabhupada because we are distributing Krishna consciousness. And if we please Prabhupada, Krishna is pleased. Yasya prasadat bhagavat prasad. Life is done. So let's not forget the glorious opportunity we have to purify our lives, to become Krishna conscious, and also be an instrument to make others Krishna conscious. So we'll stop here. Granth Raj, Srimad Bhagavatam, Srila Prabhupada.